Today we're going to go over how to create a pivot table and start a genuine report with a couple of filters, maybe a couple of slicers inside Excel 2010. First thing you're going to need is your data. So for instance, we'll say you got this out of your financial system. It's giving you your sales, cost of goods sold, basic sales data over a period of time in different places. So once you have this, all you need to do is go to Insert while selecting one of the headers. Click Pivot Table, and then select Pivot Table. And it's immediately going to ask us if we want this table that we have here. So yes, I want all of the financials table. Go to New Worksheet so that we have plenty of room and we're not displaying this data here in the raw format. Go ahead and click OK. And then we'll see our basic startup for the pivot table. So now what we need to do is actually grab some of the data fields that we have available to us and put them either in the columns label or the row filters. So the first thing I want to do is find out the country. So I'll go ahead and drag the country down. Next thing we might want would be our gross sales. So I'll go ahead and pull gross sales down. Now, you're going to notice that that's not being displayed in currency format. So if you want to do that, you just click on this down here in the values column. You click value field settings, and then you could apply your number format from here. Applying your number format here of currency will change the format for the entire row, even if you had more. If we had just selected these and applied the format the normal way, then these would have only changed it for these 4 or 5 cells that we have. If we later added more countries into the end here, they would not have changed, and our total down here would not have changed its formatting. Now that we have that, we might want to be able to filter. You have basic filters that are built in here by dragging the year down into the filter or report filter area, and then now we can simply click up here and choose either 2013 or 2014. If we choose 2014, we can see that the numbers change. If I change that back to 2013, again I can see how the numbers have changed. You can clear that filter by just selecting all. If you did want to select multiple items because you had 5 or 6 items, just simply click here and only select the ones that have check marks next to them. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that, and I'm going to remove that filter. Now, if you wanted to make it more app looking or button style, you could go to Options, click Insert Slicer from the ribbon, and we get a list of our options that we have over here as well. So now we could actually choose year, and maybe we want the product type. So if I go ahead and click OK now, I'll get 2 button style slicers. I can adjust these to fit how I want them. I can also go ahead and change the column up here in the ribbon, so I can have it just have 2 columns or 3 columns or however many I'm going to need. Same with this one. I can leave it like that, or I can go ahead and narrow that down a little bit if I wanted to. These will do automatic scroll bars if you go and shrink them to where they're not all of the data is showing. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and leave these to where they're all showing to make selections easier. Now, these are currently all tied to this pivot table here on the left. If I click the VTT items, I'll only see the gross sales for the VTT items. Now I can go ahead and narrow that down as well by just 2014's VTT item sales. And again, we'll see the values change in the column on the left. Let me go ahead and clear this. Now, there's 2 ways to do another pivot table. One, I can go through and insert just like we did before, or I can go ahead and grab a copy. If I copy this item, I can go ahead and paste, and then now I'm going to be able to see the exact same pivot table. The only difference is I can go ahead and rebuild it by saying that I don't want to see the sum of gross sales, I just want to see discounts. Now again, I will have to format discounts because it's the first time that I've used this in this pivot table. Now that I have it formatted the way I want, what you'll notice is, since I copied it from the original, it too is also tied to the slicers. So if I wanted to disconnect that, or if I built a second pivot table and wanted to connect one of these slicers to it, I would simply click on the pivot table, click on the slicer, go to options, slicer setting, pivot table connections, and then either uncheck or check the ones I want to tie it to. In this particular example, I want to leave it tied to both of the pivot tables so that I can get an accurate report as on my gross sales and on the amount or the discount amounts that were applied to those sales. So that's it for pivot tables in this tutorial. Stay tuned with us, and we'll be releasing more shortly.